What's up, YouTube? It's Ryan from AnnihilatorMTG here, and I'm back again with some more Modern. This week, we're going to be playing a deck that's an old favorite of mine. We're playing Grixis Control. Now, Grixis Control hasn't really been in vogue for a while now, which is unfortunate, because I always thought that this archetype had some of the most fun cards in the format. Like, who doesn't like playing with Snapcaster Mage, and Culligan's Command, and Cryptic Command? It's just such a fun group of cards with value that just goes through the roof. The problem is the format has evolved a lot since then, since this deck was really popular back when it was the split between Control and Delver. Now, that's not to say that we don't have any new toys to play with. We have Mystic Sanctuary, Cling to Dust, we have high-value versatility cards like Bone Crusher Giant and Drown in the Loch, and we have a powerhouse in Croxa. We also have some pretty cool cards in the sideboard like Cleansing Wildfire, which helps tremendously in the Tron matchup. We have Mystical Dispute, Ashiok, and you can't forget about Plague Engineer. These cards are all fantastic, but that doesn't really answer the question of, do other decks in the format do what this deck does, but without some of the problems that Grixis has always had, which is like managing its life total, for instance. So that's kind of my goal today. I'm going to run this in the queue, see if it can perform as well as it did back in the day, and if it does, then I'm happy with it. We can pull this out every now and again and have a lot of fun like we used to. So let's hop into the queue and see how it performs. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend, and we won the die roll. Good stuff. Okay, well, this is a pretty good hand. We have plenty of early plays in 3 Thought Scours and an Inquisition, plus a Cryptic Command, so I think we should be fine here. Alright, this is super nostalgic, I must say. I think we're gonna lead with the Inquisition for sure. I mean, there's no reason not to, so we'll crack this. We'll get a Watery Grave, untapped, and let's see what our opponent's playing. Oh boy. Well, this, my friends, is one of the harder matchups for this deck, 100%. Okay, so let's take a Lightning Bolt. This is gonna be painful, for sure. Burn has always been really strong against this deck because we tend to hurt ourselves a lot. So they play a Vexing Devil. Great. We'll pay the 4, which is unfortunate. All right, so already down to 13. That's it's not too good. So let's crack this. All right, then let's go Steam Vents tapped, and I think we'll just go with a Thought Scour. We're doing this all at sorcery speed because functionally speaking, there's really no reason not to. We top deck a island, that's fine. We're gonna have to get this show on the road for sure. The problem is this Croxa isn't really too happy with this basic island, so there's that. Monastery Swiftspear, that's not great. Okay, then I assume we're just gonna get bolted or something, or some bolt equivalent. Okay, looks like our opponent's gonna be swinging in. And nothing else. That's very odd, I must confess. Okay, Lightning Bolt, that's good. So, let's see here. Let's Thought Scour our opponent again. Okay, Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize isn't great, but it does beat 3 damage that we would be taking, so I'm kind of inclined to play it. It's certainly not going to get better, I'll tell you that much. And if our opponent responds with something, then yes, we will just bolt the Swiftspear in response to that. Good. Okay, so the Swiftspear is taken care of. They bolt us, so we go down to 8, and then we're going to go down to 6, which I'm really not thrilled with. We're just... looks like we're dead, is what it looks like. So I guess we just go Shard Volley, take that, and then if our opponent top decks a mountain, we die, which is not great. I mean, we're effectively dead anyways. Oh, Vexing Devil, that's fun. Gonna hit no, so they don't get a Spectacle. Alright, that's not great. Okay, Cling to Dust isn't terrible. Let's Thought Scour them. Island. Let's see, we Cling to Dust, and then we gain, what, 3 life, then I'm pretty sure we just die anyways. So they swing in for 4, then they hit us for 3. Yeah, I mean, we're likely dead pretty much no matter what, but we'll just go for it. So let's get their Swiftspear. It's a shame that we're not able to play this Croxa. That would just be phenomenal. So we're up to 9. If our opponent gets a land, then we're in trouble. If they get pretty much anything else, we're still in trouble. Goblin Guide. So that's 6 plus 3 with a Spectacle, we lose. Okay. All right. So burn. Burn. Let's go Brutalities for sure, 100%. I think I want to cut these Thoughtseize because it's just not going to be all that helpful. Let's see, what else? I don't know if, well, these Plague Engineers, are they just better? I mean, they might be. Like, how much do we care about Cryptic? Like, are we ever really gonna be able to cast Cryptic? Probably not, right? So, like, we just play this more leaned out version of the deck and just see if that's enough? Sure, why not? All right, we're gonna play first here and hope that we get something a little bit better. Okay, so this is fine. We have ways to kill their creatures if they happen to have them. If they don't, then it is what it is. So we can keep this for sure. So I'll play a Bloodstained Mire and pass. Hopefully they swing in with like a Goblin Guide or something. Something that we can answer that also might draw us a card. That'd be pretty cool. Our opponent also plays a Bloodstained Mire. They crack it. They get a basic mountain. Vexing Devil, okay. So I'll crack this, and let's see here. Let's get a Steam Vents, untapped, let that resolve, hit no. It's interesting to see Vexing Devil. I haven't seen this card in a long time. All right, so let's Lightning Bolt. So that's taken care of. Then let's play a Delta. Let's see here. I wouldn't mind them just hitting us with like a bolt or something so we can play the Delta or crack the Delta and then play something tapped. That's kind of annoying. Geez, man, I don't like this. Let's crack this, and what do we do? Let's get a Watery Grave untapped. I hate doing this, but I feel like we have to. We'll let it resolve. If they only have one mountain, then we're fine. They swing in. Okay. Now the trigger's on the stack. Let's stomp. We want to save the Drown in the Lock for an actual counter spell. Okay. And we got a Creeping Tar Pit. Cool, we can actually play that. Although I might be inclined to play the Bloodstained Mire and get another island, so our Mystic Sanctuary will be live. Yeah, I actually think I'll do that. Okay, we might actually be in a good spot here, truth be told. Especially if our opponent is stuck on one land, we can totally manage that. And of course, speak of the devil. Let's get another Steam Vent since we already have the Tar Pit. Put that in tapped, obviously. Now, let's play the Tar Pit. We can hold out on the Mystic Sanctuary for now. Okay. And now we just play the waiting game. All right, our opponent plays a Lightning Bolt. I'm not too worried about that. Their hand is just chock full of burn, no doubt, so I'd rather counter something bigger than that if need be. Goblin Guide, okay. We can manage that for sure. All right, I think we'll K-command here. We'll do 2 damage discard. That seems to be the best. Discard, 2 damage, and we'll hard pass. Looks like they discard a Shard Volley, and we draw a land, which is interesting. Okay, let's Mystic Sanctuary and get our K-command back. That's pretty good, I must say. Then, let's play our Giant. Wow, we might actually be in a good position here. Okay. Bolt us. I think we can just counter that. All right. Not bad at all. All right, they suspend a Rift Bolt. That's okay. We can counter that too, actually. All right, there's a K command. So, let's see here. Let's play a Blood Crypt tapped. Then let's go K command. 2 modes. They take 2, then discard. So we're trying to kill them as soon as possible and strip their hand of anything that they have of value. They seem to be mulling it over. Another Shard Volley, okay. So we can counter their Rift Bolt with our Drown in the Lock. And, well, we might counter it, we might not. It totally depends on a lot of things, to be honest. If they target our Giant, then we're definitely countering it, like, no doubt. Goes out of suspend, targets us. I think we can let that through. Skewer the Critics. Let's not let that through. All right, so they're down to 2 cards. Skewer the Critics again, down to 1 card. Okay, well, Drown in the Lock. That's phenomenal. Okay, let's animate the Tar Pit. So now we have a 2-turn clock. We can counter one of their burn spells. Unless their last card in hand is that 3 mana deal 4 can't be countered, then we win. Of course, they would have to draw a mountain for that to work out, so it's a bit of a Hail Mary on our opponent's side, but I think we'll be okay. Wow, and they scoop it up. Okay, good stuff. I'm pretty happy with what we saw there, so let's just resubmit and see if we can do it again. All right, game number 3 here, and I don't think we can keep this hand. We really can't lean on a 1-lander in this scenario, especially not if we're playing just like 22 lands. I mean, maybe if we had like a cantrip and we were playing more lands, but honestly, I'm not super comfortable with this. So we'll mulligan. This is better. This is better. Let's see here. Do we get rid of the Kroxa or the K command? I think we get rid of the K command. All right. And our opponent mulligans to, what, 5? Okay. Wow, that's pretty brutal. So, I think we play Steam Vents, hold up Bolt, bolt their Swift Spear in response to their burn spell. I think that's what we do. Well, we might have gotten really lucky with our opponent being down on cards. Goblin Guide, I'm fine with that. Okay. They swing in. Goblin Guide trigger. Let's let that resolve first. Steam Vents. Okay. Let's just bolt the guide, honestly. They're low on cards, so how often is their Swift Spear actually going to be pumped to 2 or beyond? And if we aren't immediately hit with a pump, then yeah, we're fine. Okay. I'm actually pretty happy with that. They're paying cost, skewer the critics. Okay, that's good. Well, that's good because they weren't able to pump their Swift Spear. I should be specific on that. Drown in the Lock. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, the question is do we go... Oh, do we just go Tar Pit? I mean, this is complicated. I think we go crack this, get a basic Swamp, then Croxa. So that guarantees that our opponent loses their last card in hand, even if it's a land. So we Croxa. We only really paid 1. We'll put those on the stack. We'll yield. Okay. That's a skull crack. All right. So our opponent, like, in terms of maximum damage, I think they're only going to be able to get in for 4 next turn. And then we can do stuff like Drown in the Lock, Cling to Dust, that kind of stuff. We're likely just going to play the Tar Pit, though. That's for sure. All right, we'll hard pass here. They swing in. Well, I should say their maximum is 5 damage because of the pump. Nothing. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Let's do Tar Pit plus main phase Drown, just because I don't want to really mess with anything. Then next turn we can go Pyro into Cling, hit their Swift Spear, gain life, get blockers, and then we go from there. Skull Crack, okay, that's relevant. We're going to hard pass here. Hopefully they just top deck a land. Okay, nothing so far. All right, well, we can be safe here. Let's go crack this. Let's get Mountain. Let's go Young Pyro. Well, then let's just try it. Let's just go for it. Let's go Cling to Dust. Let's see if it works. It did. Okay. All right, I actually think we're in a good spot here. I really do. So next turn, we can... What? Can we bring back the Croxa? We can. We can just bring back the Croxa and then have a very threatening board. Or we can also just Cling to Dust again. And our opponent scoops it up. Wow, never thought we would beat Burn literally on the first try. Okay. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend. All right, we won the die roll as well. Good stuff. We can definitely keep this. This is a good mix of cards. Definitely. So I think we're just going to go Delta Pass, probably. I guess we could go Bloodstained Mire Pass, too. All right, fetch, then pass. Looks like our opponent went down to 6. I'm happy about that for sure. They play a Caves of Koilos. Aether Vial. All right, so let's fetch. Then we'll go Steam Vents, Thought Scour. Well, that's not exactly helpful. We'll pass. Another fetch. Fun. Okay. Let's just play the Delta and pass. They get to uptick their Vial. I would absolutely adore to draw a K command to deal with this Aether Vial. That would be phenomenal. Alright, they're putting a counter on their Aether Vial. No problem. A 1-lander. Huh. Okay, let's fetch. And let's go Watery Grave tapped. Then let's Thought Scour. Eldrazi and Taxes. Fine. Figured it was something along those lines, but I just wanted to be sure. Cryptic, no problem there. Let's play the Delta, and let's see here. We can always respond to anything they do. If they activate the Vial with 2 counters on it, we're just going to fetch in response because I'm not dealing with a Leonin Arbiter. That's for sure. All right, looks like they're still stuck on 1 land, which is phenomenal for us, especially with this Cryptic in hand. We can do some funny things with their Vial. Return it to hand, then counter it with the Drown. Pretty thrilled about what's going on here. Let's crack this, kind of baiting them into vialing. And they do. Cool. So we'll just bolt it. All right. Then we'll get that, put it in tapped, and pass. Okay. Nice. Now, let's go Island Go. And during their end step, we can return their Vial to their hand and draw with the Cryptic. And then Logic Knotted on the way back down and drown whatever they play, whatever 3-drop they put into play with the Vial. So I actually think this is super manageable. Yeah, this is definitely manageable for sure. Well, it looks like they got their second land, but they're happy about that. Definitely late to the party, though. All right, they jam the Vial. That's fine by me. Tide Hollow Sculler. Interesting. Well, this changes things a bit. I'll let that resolve. I think they'll take the Cryptic. They take the Logic Knot. The Logic Knot? That doesn't make any sense, in my opinion, personally. I mean, if you're going to take a 2-drop, I think the Drown is just infinitely better because it acts as a removal spell. Okay, sure. Well, now that, let's see, now that they have 2 lands, I'm not really inclined to do anything with the Vial, so let's just Drown. Okay, we'll get our Logic Knot back, thanks, I guess. Snapcaster Mage, that's nice. Let's go Watery Grave untapped, so we can go Logic Knot into Snap Bolt. That's important. Our opponent draws a card. Let's see if they have a 3rd land or not. They seem to be inclined to stay on 2, which is fine. Vial in a Thalia. Okay, sure. I have no problem with that at all. I actually think we go for it. Let's return the Vial to their hand and draw. We get a snap. That's good. Excellent. Okay. So, okay. Let's go Snapcaster Mage, Lightning Bolt, Bolt the Thalia, hold up Logic Knot, and then we can just counter the Vial. No problem at all. All right, they're paying costs here. Tide Hollow Sculler. Well, I guess we will just Logic Knot that. I think we only need to do 1. So counter unless they pay 1, and they do not, because they can't. No problem. And they're leaving their Vial in hand. Not bad. Okay, let's Mystic Sanctuary, and let's get our Cryptic back. Definitely use that. Then let's swing in with a Snapcaster Mage. Okay, let's... Before they draw, Thought Scour them, see what we hit. A TKS and a Path, no problem there. All right, so now we have a Cryptic for whatever the heck they play. They got their 3rd land. Vial, don't care. Nice. So let's do, let's see here. Let's do counter return. We just got another one. That's phenomenal. All right. Well, this just gets better and better. Our opponent's not going to be happy with us. Okay, we will swing in for an attack. All right, 3rd land, no problem. Or 4th land, rather. Okay, they play the Vial. We'll let that resolve. They play an Eldrazi Displacer, so let's take the opportunity to Snapcaster Mage, and let's go Cryptic. Let's just counter draw, because I want to keep my Snapcasters in play to be able to just swing in for max damage. Normally, it would be like counter return one of the Snapcasters, but since we already have another Cryptic and a Logic Knot, I think we're fine. Let's go with a Thoughtseize. Interesting. All right, let's just take the Thought-Knot Seer. I guess I'm more scared of that than anything else, but I mean, even then, not that big of a deal. Then we'll swing in for 4, and there's really not much our opponent can do from this point. All right, they put a counter on their Aether Vial. They draw a card, and they're paying costs. Beautiful. Interesting. Let's go Logic Knot and Delve 2. Okay, they can't pay it. They have 2 3-drops in their hand. They can't Vial that. All right. So we just continue at this point. Creeping Tar Pit, that's phenomenal. Okay, we'll swing in for attacks here. All right, so they're down to 5. They're going to uptick their Vial, which isn't going to be enough. They either deal with our creatures plus our Tar Pit this turn, or it's over, basically, which is going to be really tough for them to have to deal with. Okay, so let's go Cryptic, and I think we just do, because I know that they have 2 3-drops, we just go counter draw. Their Vial is functionally useless. Phenomenal. All right, Fatal Push, that's good. So let's go Animate. Even if they could Vial something out, we can just kill it. And we have the fetch to be able to trigger Revolt, so there's really no stopping us, and they concede. Okay, so what do we do about Death and Taxes? Honestly, I feel like this is a really good matchup for us, so long as we can get our fetches taken care of before their Arbiters take control. So let's see here. These Brutalities are probably just better than to Cling to Dust. I mean, maybe there's something to be said about the Plague Engineers, but, you know, I mean, really? I mean, I guess we could name Human. That would be interesting. Sure, let's just go with that, to be honest. I think this is... Otherwise, this is all just fine. We're in a really good spot here. All right, game number 2 against Death and Taxes. Is this hand enough? 5 lands is a lot. Honestly, that's a ton. However, Young Pyromancer is really good. Fatal Push is really good, but I don't know if we can really keep 5 lands. I mean... let's mulligan. Well, this might be a little bit worse because we don't have any direct removal, but I think we have to keep this now. We've kind of made our bed here. So I think I will just ship one of the fetch lands, and then we can go Fetch, Thought Scour, pass. Yeah, this should be fine. I mean, really, it's not that bad. I would much prefer the removal over, say, honestly, even the Cryptic Command, because this might not be fast enough. Oh, and our opponent mulligans to 6 as well. Okay. So we'll keep and let's ship one of the deltas. See what they play. Okay, a Shambling Vent tapped. Pretty happy about that. No Aether Vial. And there's our 4th land. So let's go Polluted Delta. Let's crack this immediately. Just save a little bit of time. Watery Grave. We're going to Thought Scour anyways, so might as well make this a touch easier. All right, our opponent plays a basic Swamp and a Tide Hollow Sculler. Okay, so let's Thought Scour them. We draw land. We hit 2 of their creatures. 2 very good creatures, mind you. And I assume... Can this hit... non-land card. Yeah, so I assume they're just going to take the snap. They could take the Cryptic, but, you know, whatever. We're not going to be playing that anytime soon. Little bit upset with the myriad of lands that we happen to be stuck with, but, you know, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Okay, they take the Cryptic. Interesting. Drown in the Lock. That's phenomenal. So let's, I guess we can just wait. We'll play the Bloodstained Mire. We'll wait. We can just blow up the Tide Hollow Sculler if they do nothing of note. If they play like a really good 3-drop, then we'll just counter that instead. All right, they play an Isolated Chapel. They play a Vial. I don't think we're worried about that right now. And a Charming Prince. Okay, so let's crack this. Let's get a Steam Vents. Then let's blow up the Tide Hollow Sculler, get our Cryptic back. Their Prince does resolve. I guess we should have just waited. We should have waited for that to resolve, I suppose, because they could have, like, blinked this if they wanted to. I don't think they necessarily would have wanted to do that, though. Lightning Bolt, love that. Okay, so let's play the Tar Pit and pass. We can hold up the Bolt to deal with the Prince. Not that we necessarily need to be worried about it. It's just a bear. So they're going to uptick their Vial. Now the question is do they have any kind of debilitating 3-drops that we don't necessarily want to have to deal with? We have no way of countering it, so the shields are down momentarily. But if they have nothing, then we'll be able to crack the Bloodstained Mire for a land, hold the Polluted Delta so we can get a Mystic Sanctuary, and then Cryptic, get it back, Cryptic again. What is this? Non-creature spells cost 1 more. That's not too relevant. We'll just blow it up. Cool. All right, now we'll pass. They can swing in for 2. That's not a problem. Okay, now we're down to 12. Another Bolt. That's pretty good. Okay, we'll play the Bloodstained Mire. So we have a ton of options here, which I'm pretty happy about. We can go Bolt, Snap, Bolt, if need be. Thing is I want this to get a Steam Vents, or yeah, I want this to get a Steam Vents because we need that 3rd island so we can get the Mystic Sanctuary with the Delta. That is one pretty important factor, I must say. So the problem with that is we're going to be running a little bit thin in terms of life totals, which I'm not super thrilled about. Kind of one of the pitfalls of this deck. An Eldrazi Temple, okay. Let's see if they'll be playing a Thought-Knot Seer. We definitely don't want to have to deal with that. All right, they're paying costs. Let's see what that is. Animate the Shambling Vent. Okay, well, that's pretty tempting. Okay, you've convinced me. Let's crack this. Let's get a Steam Vents untapped. Then let's go Bolt. Then let's go Snap, Bolt. Bolt the Prince. 2 birds, 1 stone. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so now we have Polluted Delta, we have Cryptic Command held up, we have a Logic Knot, we can go Cryptic and then Mystic Sanctuary, get our Cryptic back on top. We can, of course, just Mystic Sanctuary, get a Drown in the Lock, or Lightning Bolt if need be. I think I'm going to swing in here and just... Let's see. Yeah, I think swing in, try to bait out a 2/2 if they have another one, and then I'm completely fine to trade the Snapcaster Mage if it means getting rid of one of their creatures. Let's see here. Nothing. Okay, so I don't think they have anything of note, which means we might be half tempted to end step, return their Vial to their hand, draw, then crack the Polluted Delta, put the Cryptic back on top, and just be where we were, but in a better position. I think we're fine here. It's a little bit squirrely, but I think we're going to be okay. All right, they go up to 3 on the Vial, no problem. They play a Kaya. Interesting. Okay, well, I think I just want to Logic Knot that. like so. Okay. I mean, that's fine, right? They can't do anything about that. Shields are a little bit down here, but it's not like we would have been crypticking whatever they return or whatever they play out with a vial anyways, so it's not really the end of the world. If they play something that can be bolted, I think I will crack the Delta, Mystic Sanctuary, put the bolt on top, or Drown in the Lock. Functionally, it doesn't matter. And then just hold up Cryptic, bounce the Mystic Sanctuary, counter whatever they play. Yeah. Drowsy Displacer, I'm fine with that. All right, yeah, their shields are down. Okay. Mystic Sanctuary. Bolt. Yes. Bolt. Beautiful. Now the question is do we just animate the Creeping Tar Pit and start going to town? I think maybe that's what we do. I don't know. I think I'll wait. I think I'll just swing in with a snap for now and just see how it goes. Yeah, maybe I'm a little bit more comfortable with that. All right, if this goes up to 4, then that's going to be pretty telling about them wanting to just jam a Thought-Knot Seer, but they keep it at 3. A little bit more comfortable with that. Well, seemingly nothing from our opponent. Well, I guess we just keep going then. Young Pyromancer. Oh boy. Wow. That's definitely a good one. All right. Let's swing in with the Snap. Okay. Swing in with a Snapcaster Mage. Let's see if they jam with the Vial. They do not. Okay. I mean, sure. Let's just jam the Pyro. We gotta actually put our foot down and make decisions sometimes. All right. So they Vial in a 3-drop. Hopefully it's not Skyclave. That would be not great. Flicker Wisp. Okay. That's fine. All right. 2 cards in hand. Vial on 3. They have enough mana for a TKS. They top deck the land. Otherwise they would have played that earlier. All right. So they're going to swing in for 3. Which is fine. Brings us down to 5. The likelihood of the last card in their hand being a 3-drop, I'm unsure about that. Snapcaster Mage, now that's phenomenal. So we go Snapcaster Mage into Bolt. Young Pyromancer, yield to the trigger. Hopefully we don't get blown out by another Flicker Wisp. We'll just lose if that's the case. Okay, we're good. So now the question is do we swing in? I guess if they would have had a Flicker Wisp, they would have just vialed it in to protect their original. So I think it's probably safe to attack with a Pyromancer. Hopefully we don't get blown out by that. We'll just hard pass here because it's not like we can play anything. All right, they don't vial anything in for the block. Let's see if they do it during the end step. They're going to be in a ton of trouble. They Ghost Quarter us. That's fine. Anyways, they're going to be in a ton of trouble here if they don't have something because we have quite a bit of power on the board and we can just make more. They decide to Ghost Quarter our Creeping Tar Pit, as I mentioned. Them Ghost Quartering our Tar Pit is annoying because it could have potentially represented lethal. That would have been 3, 5, 7. Yeah, that would have been lethal. So I guess that's why they had to do that. That doesn't necessarily affect them too much in terms of mana. They probably should just keep this at 3 because they have enough mana for like Thought-Knot Seer if they have it. Just hard casting it, and then they could just vial whatever they want. I'm really curious what that last card in their hand was because they just don't seem to be doing much, at least compared to like what they could be doing. Oh, okay, and they scoop it up. GG's. Beat Death and Taxes. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent here, and our hand is pretty decent. If we're playing against any creature-based deck, we're just gonna be rolling in it, so I'm pretty happy with this. Alright, best of luck to our opponent for sure. Flagstones. It's not great. I would really rather not play against Smallpox, but that seems to be the case. K command. Let's go Creeping Tar Pit, pass. That's very unfortunate. I am not a fan of playing against Smallpox. Flooded Strand. Oh, this could just be the typical whatever it's called. I forgot that deck exists. The green-white deck, or whatever it is. All right, so let's go Steam Vents tap. We can Cling to Dust something if they play it. Like we can Cling to Dust their fetch land. Interesting. So this is like a Jeskai build with Flagstones. All right, very interesting indeed. All right, let's Cling to Dust. We'll cycle it. Thoughtseize. That's pretty strong. Croxa. That's pretty strong too. All right, let's go lead with the Thoughtseize. What do we have here? Remand. Okay. Let's go Bloodstainmire. Remand. Very interesting. Thoughtseize. Wow. Interesting. Jeskai with Flagstones. I didn't know Jeskai played Flagstones. That's a little bit perplexing. if I do say so myself. All right, so the Cryptic would be really annoying for sure. The Snapcaster, though, is just going to be awful, and I really don't want to have to deal with that, so I think we're going to take the Snap. That's fine. We're a little bit stretched on lands for now, unfortunately, but we'll make it work if we have to. All right, opponent gets a basic land, no problem. 3 mana to Fairy. All right, I think we can manage that. Sure, so they're just going to draw. Yeah, totally. Okay, man, that's no problem. All right. Blood Crypt. Okay, that's unbelievably good. Let's go Blood Crypt, then let's go Bolt the Teferi. Then I'm inclined to go Snap Thoughtseize. Really get dealer's choice here. Okay, so they have a Cleansing Wildfire, Cryptic, Shark, Typhoon. I think I'm inclined to take the Cryptic. Not exactly excited to see the Wildfire, but I mean, come on, it's not that big of a deal, comparatively speaking. I mean, really. I wonder if their deck has a lot of game against Tron. I can only assume it does. It makes me wonder if running Cleansing Wildfire's main board, even in like Grixis, would be worth it. So that's it's an interesting thought, certainly. We can Fatal Push the Shark token, so I'm not super worried about that. Oh man, Thoughtseize, that's awesome. Let's jam this. We'll see what they decide to go with. Hardcast Force of Negation. That's fine. Hardcast Force. Let's go... What, they've got Hollowed Fountain, Shark Typhoon, Cleansing Wildfire. I guess we just go Kroxa, hold up push, and then swing with the Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, put those triggers on the stack. We'll yield to them. Save a little bit of time here. Alright, they ditched the Hollowed Fountain as expected. They already have more lands than us, so they don't really need to worry about that. So they've got Cleansing Wildfire, Shark Typhoon. I don't think they're going to cycle the Shark Typhoon just yet. It would be, what, 0? Yeah, so that ain't going to work. So I'm really happy with our position here. Their Wildfire is going to be annoying, and it'll, obviously hurt our Tar Pit here, but as far as impactful cards go, it's really not that big of a deal. Alright, they get a Sacred Foundry tapped. That's fine. Alright, so Shark Typhoon, Wildfire, and Unknown. Narset. Okay. Very interesting. Alright, let's see what the card they get. A Remand. Well, let's see here. We could just go like Tar Pit into the Narset. It can't be blocked, so we're fine. And like, that's it. Yeah, that's fine. Sure. Kind of deal with this now, so we don't have to deal with it later. And they can't Shark Typhoon. And this is a... They should have just played this. They should have played this, hit the Tar Pit, and it would have greatly protected their Narset. Just because, like, with the Snapcaster Mage, it would have only taken it down to 1, which is relevant. Sure, you wouldn't be able to activate it again, but it would have kept us from being able to draw for maybe a little bit longer. What have we here? So they're just going to cycle. All right. Well, that makes our Fatal Push a little bit worse, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Okay, now that's annoying. However, Thought Scour might be the ticket here. So they have... Oh, they can Cleansing Wildfire to get it, which is unfortunate. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Good combo from our opponent, for sure. All right. Let's see. Let's get a Island. So they have Cryptic, Remand, and an Unknown. Not really thrilled about that. We have a Cryptic of our own, though, so there's that. Okay. I'm happy with that. So for now, we just kind of play chicken with our opponent. Swing in with the Snapcaster Mage, and they have to deal with that. Otherwise, they die in 4 turns. Okay. All right. Let's go Thought Scour our opponent. Hit a Thought Scour. Let's do that again. All right, we hit an Inquisition. That's pretty good. Let's go... Stomp. See if they remand that. I assume they're going to. They might even Cryptic. That's fun. Alright, counter return. No problem. Cool. So we've got a basic swamp here. Let's go Inquisition. Snapcaster Mage. Okay. Gotcha. Target Cryptic. That's fun, I guess. Okay, so they had a Mystic Sanctuary. We took our Remand. They're going to top deck a Cryptic. So what do we do here? I don't think it really matters too much. I mean, the thing is, here, let's take the opportunity and just push this. They're going to top deck a Cryptic. Totally relevant. However, I mean, what we can do is just swing in with the Snapcaster Mage, take him down to 6. That's totally a thing. And then, are we just incentivized to go discard a card 2 damage? I think we are. Yeah. So that 2 damage will speed up our clock tremendously. It's just another Snapcaster Mage, essentially. They lost their Mystic Sanctuary. They're going to top deck a Cryptic. All they have is a Cryptic now. That's it. Nothing else. If they choose to just... hold on now. I thought they Mystic Sanctuaried a... oh, no, they didn't. Oh, that's right. They didn't actually... Geez, here I am, like, 4 steps ahead, thinking that they already Mystic Sanctuaried their Cryptic. My apologies, guys. I'm more than a bit tired here. However, this is actually great news for us, because what we can do is jam a Kroxa. All right, well, you know what? I won't ever say no to good news. I'll tell you that much. Let's get rid of land, scour, that. Cool. So there's our Kroxa. They don't have anything to discard, so they go down to 1. So they need to top deck a way to deal with it, or they lose. Okay. Well, this is even easier at this point. And we managed to pull it out. Okay. So, let's see here. I'm assuming Brutality is going to be pretty darn good. Fatal Push is... okay, Fatal Push is decent, right? Like, it can hit the Shark, it can hit the Snapcaster Mage. That is relevant. But is it relevant enough? Bone Crusher Giant can be a creature. That's relevant. Ah, boy. Do we really have any way to deal with the Shark? Is the big question. We can bounce it with the Cryptic. I guess Mystical Disputes might just be better than Brutalities, although who knows here. Man, do we cut the... I mean, we don't cut the bolts, right? That would be insane. Do we cut pushes and bolts and then just have, like, Thoughtseize, Thought Scours, Cling to Dust? Here's the thing. Cling to Dust is good. Okay, fine. Here's what we'll do. We won't bring in the Brutalities, so we'll keep the Cling to Dust, and we'll cut 2 bolts and a push. Fine. I'm happy with that. We bring in the Disputes, which makes us so much more powerful against blue. We have the Lightning Bolts to be able to actually deal damage and hopefully close out the game. And we have pushes on the off chance that we need it to kill some Sharks. This hand is butt ugly, so we're going to mulligan. This hand is a little bit better. A whole heck of a lot better, to be honest. I think what we're going to do is just ship the Lightning Bolt then. Then we can go... Inquisition, Thoughtseize, and then like Tar Pit on turn 3 or something. Or honestly, we can Tar Pit on turn 2. That's fine. All right, and our opponent mulliganed as well, so we'll ship that bolt, and I think we're honestly in a pretty good spot here. They go Prairie Stream, that's interesting. I thought that was a Colonnade at first. All right, second Inquisition, that's interesting. So let's lead with one of those, and look what our opponent has. Ashiok, Mystical Dispute, Snapcaster, Remand. Well, they're not playing the Ashiok next turn, that's for sure. The thing is, though, like, Snapcaster, annoying. Remand, annoying. Mystical Dispute, annoying. On the off chance that, God forbid, we have no way to actually take this Ashiok, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. We are going to be in a ton of trouble. With that said, if we take... We can take the Snapcaster now, make them hold up the Remand. They'll Remand us, they cycle. Then we just take the Ashiok. Sure, let's just take the Snap. If we didn't have redundant hand attack, I think we would have done something differently there, but I think we're all right. So let's lead with the Inquisition. There's no doubt this will get remanded, especially if it looks like we only have 1 land. That's one thing that we're trying to sell here, and they don't seem to care. Well... Let's take the Ashiok. Let's go basic Swamp, Thoughtseize, force them to remand us. There we go. Okay, so they have Cryptic, Mystical Dispute, and an Unknown. I think we're in a good spot in that regard. We have Drown in the Loch, which is pretty good. They top-decked a Flagstones, that's fine. Teferi, that's kind of annoying. In fact, that's actually quite annoying. Alright, that's not what you want to say. Okay, so let's go Thoughtseize, take the Cryptic. They have a Mystical Dispute left. That's about it. Then we just hold up Drown in the Loch, I guess. I mean, we can't actually use it, though. That's kind of the crazy thing. So let's go... I keep forgetting about Teferi's dumb rules. Oh, boy. All right, let's get Blood Crypt tapped, and then let's just Thought Scour. All right, can't play anything at instant speed. Boy. All right. So, whatever. Mistakes were made. We're fine. They uptick the Teferi. They've got a Mystical Dispute and an Unknown. Logic not. That's okay. Let's go Thought Scour, hit us. Basic Mountain. That's not terrible, right? Like, we can get a Kroxa and get going next turn. That's pretty relevant, honestly. They uptick Teferi. That's fine. They seem to be low on lands, though, which is interesting. Drown in the Loch. Okay. Well, let's honestly... I mean, do we start working on this Teferi? Do we jam the Kroxa and force them to counter? All right, let's just start working on the Teferi. I don't like it, but if we can get this out of the way sooner rather than later, especially if we top deck like a Bolt, then I think we'll be happy. And if they path our Tar Pit, then it is what it is. All right, so Teferi's down to 4. They find their land. So this means if they had something like a Cryptic that is now active, they uptick it to Teferi. That's fine. All right, I am more than happy to lead with the Thoughtseize. All right, looks like our opponent's going to be playing a Snapcaster Mage. Interesting. And a Remand, which is slightly perplexing. So they Remand us, which is fine. We'll animate the Tar Pit. The Snap can't block. And let's hit it to Teferi. Now, one thing I'm slightly concerned with is them just... Oh, they can't downtick. Good. Okay, that's good. They have to uptick with the Teferi. They top deck the land again. The Teferi will die to the Tar Pit unless they have an answer, which they very well might. All right. But luckily, we can lead with a Thoughtseize with next to no real consequences. They can tap our Tar Pit, or rather return it to hand, and then it comes in tapped if they have a Cryptic. So that's pretty relevant, unfortunately. Mystical Dispute. Sure. Yeah, you can have that. Let's animate the Tar Pit. Hopefully they don't have a path. Attack the Teferi. Let's see if it dies. Okay, and it does. All right. Well, that's one less nightmare to have to deal with. Watch them just have another one in hand, though. That would be quite the annoying predicament. They play another land. All right, they Wildfire. That's fine. Let's get an island. Luckily, we still have one basic left. Although with Path and Wildfire and all the stuff that they have, we're going to be pretty stretched thin on lands, I feel. However, with this in mind, we have a young Pyromancer that we can protect with a Drown or Logic Knot, so I'm actually really happy about that. Oh boy, Ashiok. Okay, well that sucks. That sucks like a lot. Let's go Pyro. They're cracking a Flooded Strand, I guess. Basic Island. All right, what is this? Spell Snare? That's annoying. Let's go... Logic Knot, counter unless they pay 1. Because I don't think this Logic Knot's going to get much better from this point onward. Alright, so the Pyro resolves, which is pretty cool. We can't cast the Cryptic, which is really annoying. And they're just top decking at this point. And they play a tap land. They exile us again, that's fine. Alright, so I'm just thinking about what I want to do here. I think we can go Drown in the Loch, kill the Snapcaster, and then just start swinging. Yeah, let's swing at this Ashiok here. I don't think there's a reason to go to face just yet. So they can choose to just kill their own Ashiok, which is relevant. I don't know if they're going to do that, though. And they're top decking, which is nice because, I mean, we can Drown in the Loch pretty much anything they do except for a cycled Shark Typhoon, which is relevant. Snapcaster Mage. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Because they have Shark Typhoon, I want to swing an Elemental at the Ashiok and just hold back on the young Pyro. I don't like that they're holding a card in hand. Okay, that's fine. So now we can go Snap, Drown in the Loch if need be, or we can just play the Drown in the Loch in our hand and go from there. Okay, what have we here? Oh boy, big Teferi. I think I'm going to go Snap, Drown in the Loch, just so we can have more power on the board, because then we'll have, what, 6 available to us? We'll have Pyro, Snap, 2 Elemental tokens. That's pretty compelling. And they scoop it up. Wow, GG's opponent. And there you have it. So let's talk about the deck list really quickly. First and foremost, this is definitely not a Toon build. If we look at the mana base, for instance, we're a little bit light on red, and we might want to swap out one of the Tar Pits for a Rakdos or Is It Equivalent, be it a Manland or a Filter or Horizon. If we do decide to go with Horizon lands, we might want to increase the land count to 23 from 22, but I haven't done enough testing to know for sure. I'm not sure if I want to lean heavier into discard or counter magic as the main theme of the build itself. I also have no idea if I want to be jamming Wildfire in the main or not. It seems phenomenal against Tron, but I can't tell if that's a trap similar to what Spreading Seas was back in the day. It was really good sometimes, and in the games where it wasn't, it was just awful. The sideboard itself needs tweaking for sure. I wouldn't hate a Braids or Aether Gusts would be pretty cool too. Rejections would be good if we expect to see a lot of Tron. I feel like we definitely need some spell bombs. The list goes on and on. Personally, I think this was a really cool experiment. I could probably retool this deck for a good while and still find ways to improve, be it the ever-changing nature of the meta or my inability to read it. All jokes aside, Grixis is a blast to play, and I highly recommend giving it a shot if you haven't. Thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay safe out there, and have a good one.